the Ward Melville team go offensively. Defensively, Ward Melville has always been very strong. They employ the zone defense, and they've been very, very successful at it. And they've just been, defensively one of the toughest teams to score on.
All right, here's Finity. Garden City, tough to score on too. They've given up just 1 goal here. They averaged 3.6 goals against. Mangano has had an outstanding year. Doesn't get all that much action because his team is so good offensively. And they control the ball so well. Here's Finity, knocked away. Whoa, look at that collision. No foul as Joe Rizzolo, 6'1", 170, really got hit trying to come out with that ball. Back comes Garden City with it. Here's Tully. Or check it, Finity, 27.
And Garden City is just controlling the ball right now. They're not giving Division Avenue a chance to come down even and set up on the offensive half. I don't think their attack has touched the ball in the last three and a half minutes.
That's
Barry.
right. Here's Cavoti working behind, and he'll use up as much as the clock. Time on the side of Garden City. They hold a commanding lead here.
And they're making Division come out and play them, which is, which is not what Division wanted to do.
The low bounce shot bounces over the goal taken by Jay McMahon. 4:09 to go, 4th quarter. Garden City trying to make it 17-0 and win the league championship. Despite going to the finals, Kerry Gluck, last year and finishing 23-2, they only shared a league championship, and that was with this Levittown Division team. So they want to be there all by themselves, and a win today would guarantee them that.
Well, the bragging rights of being a league champion. You work hard and you get to the state finals, and you can't even say that you were the league champion.
Undisputed, right? Here's Dell'Olio, 17. Outstanding player in his own right. We haven't talked too much about him. Converted midfielder. Now Garden City will make changes. In comes Tully, 22, as they'll bring in the first unit. Kraus now checking back in. Terry, what about as we see so often in lacrosse, you play midfield lines, you keep the same group together. What's the reason for that?
Well, generally speaking, you get to know one another very well. You get to know who your shooters are. You have your defensive man on the midfield who's responsible for cutting off any breaks. You have your dodger, and you try and keep them equal, perhaps, so you can always run 2 equal or 3 sometimes, depending on how big a squad you have. Midfields at the other side.
Now Garden City had a chance to shoot Dell'Olio, but he decided to pass off, and they are playing the clock a little bit here. Less than 3 minutes to go. Kraus working it behind. This is Chris Sullivan. Back out to Kraus. Kraus again beats the defender, hits the pipe. Oh, he had that goal. Second time he's hit the pipe. And I'll tell you, Tommy Brennan has had his hands full trying to stop Mr. Kraus today.
Well, it certainly is no easy task that Tommy Brennan has, and especially as a first-year player. And there you see the shot, the lefty shot. He beats Brennan and takes them inside and hits the inside pipe. Unfortunately, doesn't go in for Andy in the second one today. That's done just that. But Brennan has been a nice, pleasant surprise, I think, for Division. He's been referred to as a secret weapon of Division Avenue, according to Jimmy Amon, and he's tough, he's aggressive, and that's why they have him taking on Andy Kraus.
Now working behind, Cavoti over to Kraus, who's moved in. 2:25 to go, 4th quarter. Garden City going to come away with a win here, a very impressive win over Levittown Division, ranked number 6 in the county. And they were a game behind coming in today. This would have tied them for the league championship. Dell'Olio against Zacher.
That was a nice over-the-head check by Zacher, by the way, on the Garden City player. And again, I don't know, player. We see Division just throwing the ball down, and yet, their attackmen haven't come up with the ball yet.
And here's Manzo, less than 2 minutes to go, trying to come up with it. But leader has played a strong game, number 40. And finally, picked up by number 88, who's had his hands filled defensively, Tom Brennan. Now Manzo trying to get away from Tully. Tully knocks it away. Manzo recovers and will get a timeout taken by Jim Amon as they came into the box. And we're down now to 1:40 to go. So Garden City with a 16-0 record, just about closing in on their 17th win. With a victory today, Kerry Gluck, over the last 2 years, they will be 40-2. pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. There are not many teams around that can boast that kind of success.
All right, and should Garden City win the Nassau Championship, the A Championship, they'll perhaps be playing the #1 team in Suffolk, Ward Melville, a rematch of last year's outstanding game. Many of you saw it right here on Cablevision. We're delighted to bring that to you. St. Anthony's #2, West Islip #3. West Islip gave Ward Melville its toughest game, didn't they, Gary?
Yes, yes. We can't certainly forget that game that went to overtime before Melville beat them 11-10.
Sachem 8-3 finished second in League One behind Ward Melville, and Hills East 6-4 finished second behind Brentwood. By the way, we'd like to congratulate Bob Hoppy, his 300th win at Brentwood. What a figure he's been. The surprising Kings Park Club, the League 4 champion, Smithtown East. They've struggled the last couple of games. They've lost. Rocky Point #8, Comsawag #9. Comsawag finished second in League 3 to West Islip, and rounding out the top 10, St. John the Baptist. But interesting year in Suffolk.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's also interesting on these polls, Barry. If you'll notice, Hills East is ranked, but Brentwood is in first place, and they're not in the top listing there. And if I know Bob Hoppy, he'll be around probably for another 300 years. That old guy.
What a credit he's been to the sport of lacrosse.
He's established tremendous tradition.
Here's a couple of defensive plays that Garden City has made, and just to show you, as they'll make a check coming up here and dislodge the ball. They've been good on the ground balls. Here's Manzo.
And here we see that one of the problems that Division has is as Manzo has to hold the ball out and waiting for his other midfielders to get on the field with him.
Well, Tully checked it right away, gave him a check. And now here's Berjou, who's been very quiet. They've done the job against these midfielders, although possession really, they haven't had the ball. That's been pretty much the story. Their inability, as we said, not to be redundant in those man-up situations early in the second half, when they had those 2 chances at the beginning of the third quarter, really hurt them, and they lose the ball again.
And it was an excellent check. You know, once again, I tell you, this Dillmeyer, Dave Dillmeyer for Garden City, has played an excellent game as a defensive midfielder.
Midi. There he is, number 11. Oh, he's got a chance to score, and he does. And does he deserve it? The job he did. Look at that young man. Is he ever happy? The junior, number 11, Dave Dillmeyer. When you get a chance to score that big pole, and he did it right there. Dave Dillmeyer, who's got speed, 5'7", 150-pounder, and the little guy is enjoying his moment.
And he should enjoy every bit of it, Barry. And, you know, the long stick defensemen, they don't seem to get all the credit and the rewards of the offensive midfielders. And here's the opportunity. And Dillmeyer happens to take a nice shot with the long stick right up in the upper corner. And
how tough is it, Kerry, to let it go with the long stick?
Much more difficult than it is with accuracy. You have to really watch how you're holding your hands on the stick. You have to drop your hands a little bit more than you do with the short sticks, and you don't get the same kind of power in the shot that you do with the short stick.
All right, this time they come up with the face-off. Zacher won the face-off, number 9. As first time he's taken him, they gave Rosenberger a rest. 54 seconds to go, and Garden City 7-1 over Levittown Division. As we mentioned earlier, Garden City had scored 6 goals the first time they played. That was the fewest goals they've scored this year. This is a club that averages 13 goals a game, and they've been held to just 7. That's because De Lorenzo has played well, but they are just doing it defensively today.
Jimmy Amon has done just really what he wanted to do in terms of his defense against Garden City. He said if we can hold him to under 7 or 7 or less, you know, he said preferably 6 or 5, you know, we'd be in a good position. However, I don't think he expected to score only 1. I think he was really relying a little bit more on the offense, which has not had that much opportunity in this whole 4th period. And really,
I guess their best chances have come on the ride where they've intercepted the balls, but in settled situations, they just haven't done much.
Yep. We have a high check on the Garden City defenseman, so we'll see a possible man-up play for Division in the waning moments of the game.
Paul Tully will go to the box. He'll be serving the penalty. Haven't had too many penalties here, especially in the second half. Had those early penalties.
I think this might be the first penalty in the second half, Barry, which tells you that it's a really hard game.
Levittown had those man-up situations at the beginning of the third quarter, couldn't cash in on a couple of them, if you'll recall.
Right, the offsides.
Right.
They'll finish the game man down, Garden City, unless they can get it in the box, but it looks like they will finish man down, but you sure know that Garden City is going to try and take the shot as quickly as possible.
All right, here's Coffey, 41. Manzo. 15 seconds to go. And that check knocks the ball free. Well, I'll tell you, Garden City's been physical. They picked up the ground balls. They've been all over. And they're going to win this game by a score of 7-1, 2 seconds, 1. And as they clear it, the shot is taken. Mangano just gets a stick on it, and it's over. So the Garden City Trojans have avenged last year's loss on this field that stopped their perfect season. And they come away with a very impressive 7-1 win.
And a very impressive league championship, Barry. They played a superb game. They did everything. They did everything well. They played excellent defense. They got the ground balls. Their offense was superb. They controlled the game. The tempo of the game is, I think, just as they had hoped it would be. They didn't play catch-up. I think everything went the way Garden City had hoped it would when they walked out on the field.
I want to thank Jack White, the sports information man over at Garden City, for helping us with a lot of interesting stats. And that'll do it. We'll be back. Frank Cortale, Carrie Gluck, and yours truly with our Apple Bank Player of the Game. It'll be Andy Krause and a chat with the victorious coach, Doc Doherty, in just a moment. You've been watching high school lacrosse on Cablevision. Jerry, here's a free pass to our next game.
Thanks, Barry, and here's something free for you, a free Apple Bank checking account.
Free?
Absolutely free. No monthly maintenance charges, no per check charges, nothing.
I can write all the checks I want at no cost?
The only charge you'll get is out of Apple Bank's fine service, and we'll pay you 5.25% interest on balances of $700 or more.
Apple Bank for savings. We're good for you.
I never ran before I came to Adelphi. Now I can't imagine not doing it. It really helps having the kind of encouragement I've gotten here. It makes Adelphi feel like a small college. But I'm glad it's a big university with lots of courses and career options, because I'm making choices that will affect my whole life. I'm excited about my future. In fact, sometimes I can't wait to graduate. It's sort of like running. Once you get started, you want to see how far you can go.
Adelphi University, where the advantages of a major university and a small college meet.
Back at Division Avenue High School at Levittown, I'm Barry Landers, where this afternoon the Garden City Trojans have avenged last year's loss on this very same field to Levittown, winning decisively 7-1 to win the league championship. And a guy who scored a big goal late in the second quarter to give his club a 2-goal halftime lead is our Apple Bank Player of the Game, an All-American from last year, and certainly headed for that again. He's Mr. Krause, and he's standing by with our colleague. Let's go to Frank Cortale.
Andy Krause is the Apple Bank Outstanding Player of the Game. Andy had 2 goals this afternoon, has 51 on the season, and just a great team effort. You led division by 1 game coming into this. Now you have a 2-game cushion on him.
Yeah, it was a great game all around. We played like a team. We just hustled all around on defense and offense. We picked up all the ground balls, and at the end we had the shots.
You came in last season undefeated and they beat you, but this time you didn't let anything like that happen.
Yeah, we knew that, and we didn't want that to happen again. So 2 days before the game, we practiced hard, and we had that in the back of our minds the whole time.
People, Garden City this year averaging 13 goals a game, and the 2 games that were in division played you, they held you to a total of 13 goals. So even though they cut your goal scoring in half, you still beat them. They had nothing to show for it.
Yeah, Jerry DeLorenzo, he's a great goalie, and we kept on shooting and shooting, and eventually the sun will go in.
You have 51 goals, but your face-offs, your outstanding face-offs, winning 87% of your face-offs during the season. Which do you take more pride in, the face-offs or the goals?
Probably a little of both. I would say probably a little more in the face-offs, just because it gives the team the ball more, and it gives other kids the opportunity to score and stuff.
They say your nickname is the Red Rat. Why do they call you that?
I don't know where that originated from.
Andy, congratulations on a great game. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Carrie Gluck is standing by with the winning coach, Doc Doherty.
Well, Doc, you got to feel good about today's game. Really, winning the league championship here at Division Avenue has to make you and your team really very proud.
Well, it's always a challenge to play Levittown. They've been very good competitively, and it's really become a great rivalry. And we know every time we're going to meet them, we're in for a very tough ball game.
How did the game go, according to your game plan, Doc? You seemed to control the tempo of the game the way you wanted it to go, but how did you feel out during the course of the game?
Well, we knew that we had to keep them to a low-scoring game. We knew that with their defense, we would work very hard for our goals. Very happy with our defense. Our long pole middies were superb today. I was happy with our goalie, Kenny Mangano. On the other end, Andrew did a fine job. I think all of our midfielders played very well. Mickey Cavote controlled the ball very well for us, and all year long he's really run our offense, and he's the hub behind the cage.
I was really impressed with your long stick midfield. They did a superb job, I think, defensively. What about on the rides, Doc? Tell us a little bit. There seemed to be a little bit of a problem in the beginning with their long sticks on the ride causing some problems for you?
Well, naturally, it cuts down a little bit of the passing lane, and you have to be a little bit more cautious where you throw the ball. And that's why a lot of teams, high school, college, and even, well, not the club so much, are using the long sticks.
Well, I think that we also saw a tremendous job by the defense. They held them up to only 1 goal. Anytime you hold a team to 1 goal, you know your defense is doing a great job. You want to make some comments about the defense for us?
Well, we're using four of the close defensemen. 2 are juniors and 2 are seniors. And the 3 long poles that come in are all juniors. So we'll have 5 of those 7 young men back next year, so we're really pleased with that.
Where do we go from here, Doc? What's left for Garden City before the playoffs?
Well, on Tuesday we play Metham High School at home, and then on Friday we'll be playing the first round of the playoffs, and we should be home for that game.
You know, the higher seed has the home field, and you should be the #1 seed in Nassau County, I would think. Is that correct?
Well, we hope to be #1 at the end, too.
That's when it really counts. Well, congratulations on a superb game to you, to the Garden City team, to Andy Krause, and good luck in the playoffs. And Barry, I think Garden City did today just what they had hoped to do all year long.
Well, he's a happy man you just interviewed, because last year, an assistant coach over at Hempstead with Buddy Krumanaka, they won the Rutgers Cup championship. He's going to get his ring, he was telling us, on Monday, a championship ring, and it's sure headed that Garden City has a great chance at winning another Nassau County lacrosse championship. Outstanding, well-balanced ball club. I think that's the thing that impresses me the most. They have the good speed, the good sticks. They're a heady ball club, an intelligent club out there.
They certainly are. They have the great balance. Their midfields are equally as good as any as we've seen, and I think that's got to be a tremendous asset for the Garden City program and the Garden City team, and that's what's going to get them to the finals.
Well, Kerry, when you look at it, they played, of course, 2 midfields, offensive midfields. The defensive midfield, the long pole middies did well. That zone defense did well with the 4 rotating defensemen, Mangano. And we haven't talked too much about the offense. They only scored 7 goals, but it was an impressive victory.
It certainly was. And the offensive player who I think really did outstanding job, along with Andy Krause, of course, was Cavote in the back. He really is a key man for the for their offense. He sees the whole field. His feeds are beautiful feeds. He puts the ball right where he wants it, and that makes their offense tick.
Yeah, it was kind of fitting that Dillmeyer scored that goal, the long pole midi, getting a little recognition offensively, because they did play such a key role today.
Their defensive midfielders did an excellent job, along with their close defense.
All right, so Garden City apparently be one of those clubs we'll be watching coming up a little bit later on in the Nassau County Class A semifinals. For Kerry Gluck, Frank Cortale, Bob DePoto, the rest of our crew here at Division Avenue High School, this is Barry Landers reminding you the final score: Garden City Trojans 7 and the Division Club from Levittown 1. Our coverage of the lacrosse playoffs begin in 2 weeks. We'll have the Nassau Class A semifinals from Hofstra and the Long Island Class A and small school championships too. In baseball, we'll bring you the American and National League championships in Nassau County and the Long Island Class A and B title games. We're in the home stretch now, so we hope that you'll join Cablevision for these last exciting weeks of the high school sports season. Check with your local cable system for dates and times in your area. So long, everybody. Our Cablevision game has been brought to you by Apple Bank for Savings. We're good for you. And by Adelphi University.